Ladies and gentlemen, we begin this edition of the Urban Debate with some very welcome news that has come in from Sikkim this evening. The High Court has taken a decision to allow menstrual leave for women employees off the court for 2 to 3 days a month. They have to, of course, obtain the recommendation of the medical officer to avail this leave. Now, this makes the Sikkim High Court one of the first public institutions to allow menstrual leave, a decision which has reopened the larger debate in the country. Now, remember, last year, in December, Parliament debated the necessity of menstrual leave, with Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani publicly opposing it. The argument against menstrual leave do bear merit. In workplaces which are already disadvantaged against women, from inappropriate bosses and boys' club to disparities in pay and promotions, this will further lower the glass ceiling for women by adversely impacting hiring practices. After all, as Smriti Irani said, why let the world know about your menstrual cycle and open yourself up to further possible harassment? But we at Mirror now feel that just because someone is accepted or something is accepted doesn't necessarily make it right. And more importantly, we believe in giving women the power of choice. Let women decide if they want to avail period leaves by evaluating the pros and cons. But give them the choice. Some may need it, some may not. Just because many women we know have bravely borne through the agony of period pains doesn't mean that everyone else should be forced to grin and bear it as well. Today's young Indian women, they are slowly but surely finding their voice against patriarchy in personal and professional spaces by challenging what we've known as normal all our lives. So equip her with the power of choice, just like the Sikkim High Court has done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while the government of India has argued against menstrual leave in Parliament, there are states in India which have moved ahead with it. For example, Bihar gave a thumbs up to period leaves 34 years ago. The chief minister under who this happened was Lalu Prasad Yadav, a father of 7 daughters. Kerala last year announced menstrual leave for all women students in the state. But as I said, it's a subject that deeply divides workplaces and employees. A quick chat with my guest this evening, my colleague Shreya Upadhyaya has views on the subject. She's joining us on the broadcast. Karuna Nundy is an advocate at the Supreme Court. She is joining us as well. And Amit Deshpande is a men's rights activist joining us on the broadcast as well. Shreya, I'm going to come to you first. You've put out a tweet essentially saying this is not a very good idea. Why is that?
Okay, let me just at the outset say, Shreya, I am a woman. I go through periods. I've experienced period pain, menstrual cramps, everything. But I've also seen women who've gone through worse. I've seen women getting hospitalized during their period. And I've seen women go through a lot while they're at work, when they're in office, and they can't tell anybody that they're on their period and they're going through all of that pain. But I stand opposed to it for the simple reason that it's going to create more disparity, I feel. And last time around, when Smriti Irani had said that it's not a handicap, fine, you know, people experience pain, people experience worse things during their periods. But at the time, I had asked a lot of my male colleagues in office and outside, my male friends, if they as recruiters would actually consider this as a point when they recruit females. And they said, yes, it's going to be something that will be playing on our minds when we hire females. And that is something that perhaps is not going to contribute to the gender equality that we are looking for. And that is why I feel that not especially specially provided menstrual leave, but probably as part of your sick leave, you can take that.
That is an argument that has often been made, that it could be counterproductive, that it could backfire, that HRs and recruiters across the country will be hesitant to recruit more women because, you know, if women start taking leave, 2 extra days leave, what do we do? Why do we need to employ such people? And the second point is something that has again been elaborated on. And it's, you know, the point. Let me get my view in a bit, because as I said, everyone does have a view on the subject. Let me get in Karuna Nundy. Karuna Nundy, Shreya Upadhyaya is a working woman just like you, and she feels the move could be counterproductive. Where do you stand?
The problem here is that one, you know, I think women feel caught between a rock and a hard place, right? Especially if you're not self-employed, like a senior advocate, for example, has to be self-employed. There's no other option. So when you are self-employed, then you just sort of lose out on the fees from the work that you could have done or the appearances in court that you could have done if you are going through such a situation. If you're in a job, however, there are some obligations, right? There are some obligations of the work at the workplace for the workplace to not allow you to be sexually harassed, to prevent it, to protect you, to penalize such harassment. There is an obligation that you must be given 6 months maternity leave. There should also be an obligation that if, by virtue of being a woman, you do have such a difficulty, that you do go through very, very painful periods or very painful periods, then that you can take 1 or 2 or say days off. So therefore, I feel that, yes, it would be perhaps easier for workplaces to stay with a kind of patriarchal framework of employment and continue to just hire men, continue to hire men like them, you know, of the same caste or of the same class or whatever it is. But there must be a non-discrimination act that is passed by the government in order to ensure that there can't be discrimination on this or indeed on any other grounds, right?
Karuna Nundy, here's the point. There are many women, some of the, I mean, I don't know whether I should call it toxicity because everyone is entitled to an opinion, Karuna Nundy, but there are hyper-successful women who, much like Shreya, feel that it could be counterproductive. In fact, I've heard women say this will set feminism back 100 years. We have fought all our lives. Women before us have fought all their lives not to be portrayed as victims in the workplace. And here you are, legitimizing menstrual leave, something that portrays us as exactly that, victims.
Look, one is not a victim because one is a woman. So those who don't want the menstrual leave, don't take it. Don't act like a pain-free hero because of it, right? Because you want to tough it out. If you don't want it, don't take it. If you don't have a baby, don't take maternity leave. That is quite simple. With regard to the discrimination, what is being said, that look, we want to be clear that we are, we can work exactly like men who don't have uteruses. You know, that is what they want to say. So those who can, and those who are sort of male adjacent in that way, please go ahead. Those who are not able to, and let us keep in mind that there are all sorts of conditions that are extremely debilitating, then this should be a thing, right? And the point is
Shreya,
that if you are like
here, you know, one of the things...
No, please carry on.
You know, it's a bit like saying, I'm just getting Shreya into the conversation. It's a bit like saying, Serena Williams was playing competitive tennis when she was pregnant. Arey bhai, she could. Maybe she didn't have morning sickness, but other women do, na?
Yeah.
Not everyone can be expected to play competitive tennis when you're pregnant. So bodies of all women are different, Shreya.
Which is what I started with, Shreya, that there are different women who go through different experiences during their periods.
And therefore, workplaces and I think even women need to recognize that, right?
Of course.
कि मैं कर सकती हूँ, मैं टोलोलिंग चढ़ जाऊंगी when I have my periods. It's bloody painful, but I'll do it because I know there's a job that needs to be done. But if I have a choice, I should have the choice to just sit back and...
that's what my argument is, Shreya. If I have a choice, then it can be part of my sick leave. Why do I need to be labelled as taking a menstrual leave especially? Because that would create further challenges for me at workplace.
Okay, I'll get Karuna to respond to that. But very quickly, I know you have a show after this, but very quickly I want to talk to you about the point that many HR people have given when this entire debate had first erupted. By this leave will be misused. Every woman will take it. Now look at the data that is coming to us from Japan. 1947 said Japan has had menstrual leave. What is the number of people who have availed, the women who have availed the leave? Less than 1%. Less than 1% for various reasons. They don't want the office to know, you know, they feel their bosses will not understand for various reasons, but less than 1%. So misuse ka to sawal hi nahi utta. Therefore, why the hesitation?
I think why the hesitation? Because, see, you and I can sit here and talk on camera, Shreya. saying that, okay, I'm on my period and I'm going through pain, but there are a lot of women, working women that I know, who wouldn't want to share. Something that the Union Minister Smriti Irani had also made a point about last time around when this had created a controversy. This is a private matter for a lot of women. They wouldn't want to talk about it. They wouldn't want other men or the HR or the office people or here in the newsroom in our workplace to know that they're going through their periods, and that is why they would want to keep it private, and that is why they wouldn't want this kind of a public label saying that, okay, is on her menstrual leave. Just take it as a sick leave. Just take it as part of your sick leave.
I'll let Karuna respond to that. Karuna, why label it? Just let it be sick leave. You are entitled to sick leave. Just take 2 days off when you have a problem, or a day off if you have a problem.
Ms. Dhoundial, I'm more comfortable being referred to as Karuna Nundy, if you don't mind very much. Look, I think that there are...
No, not at all, Karuna Nundy. I apologize. Go ahead.
I really appreciate it. Look, here's the thing. I hear the apprehension. And of course, I hear the apprehension. Who wants to go around saying that, oh, actually, today I have my period, right? However, the shame that is attached to the victim of rape, to the victim of sexual harassment, is today in these newer generations, and I think the older generations are also learning from these newer generations, it is going, So for something that almost every woman goes through, why should anyone feel shame? If you are required under the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act to train workplaces, and we do this work, right? And we see a transformation, not just in the men and the women and others, trans folk and non-binary folk. We see a transformation in how people talk to each other, in how people understand gender, in how people also claim who they are, and understand that one just needs to treat each other with kindness and respect. So if that option is given, then is that such a terrible thing for a woman to be a woman at work and at home and everywhere else? And to be clear that you do not have to tough it through and neglect your child when you are a mother. That you do not have to be quiet about it because people are going to look at you badly if you have been sexually harassed by a senior man in the workplace. And in the same way that you do not have to tough it out. If you are having a difficult period, you have pain, you have cramps, you have backache, you have brain fog, and you can't do all the work, maybe you can do some of the work from home. All of these options can be given.
Okay, the last word to a man, because there are some who will say no uterus, no opinion in this matter. You don't have a say in this matter, but I do think they do have a say in the matter. Amit Deshpate, what's the man's point of view here?
Okay, so thanks for having me on this debate now. I've been waiting patiently. Now, Karuna has just spoken about understanding gender. I mean, I would like to speak from a person who tries to understand the gender, as well, male as well as female. First and foremost, I have spent my life wherein women used to say that it is a private matter whether they have menstrual cycle or not, and that's the reason. In our Indian households, women were rested for 3 days, and that should go away because people will come to know that they are having menstrual cycle. So that was accepted. Now we are turning the whole thing upside down, flipping it. It's fine. Okay, now we come to this. But the most important part is, have we lost all sense of the agenda or any topics that are there that we're talking about menstrual cycle? See, if we compare this with men, we are talking about patriarchy and all. Men are not, they are not given as much as leeway as women are given these days. A man who's undergoing dialysis, he's supposed to go to his office, finish his office, get the dialysis done. Next day again, he's supposed to take a train in a rush hour and go to the office. Do we have any sense of giving that man a release, a respite? That people who say that, who claim that they understand gender, they have never spoken anything about this. So they don't understand gender, according to me, firstly. Secondly, when we are talking about some women who want to take, any relief because they are really in pain, why give it a free, paid leave? It is a menstrual cycle. It is something related to the biology, related to the body. It can be a medical leave. And this will definitely put men as well as women. If anyone who takes, leaves, if let us say I am undergoing some medication, then it puts me under, disadvantage amongst my peers in the office because I am giving lesser to the company back. Okay, so women will be disadvantaged if such a thing comes in, because they are giving per day lesser to the company, and all said and done, companies are there to make profit. So this is, I mean, if they want to work for charity, they can join NGOs, not a problem. But this is not the right thing. And when you opened up, Shreya, you said that
when women come to work,
yeah, go ahead.
When women come to work, they are doing no one any charity, and the organization is not doing charity by employing them or hiring them.
Precisely, that's the reason. Now, first thing, let us decide whether men and women are equal or they are not. We have been speaking about gender pay gap all the while from the past 15 years now, since the Stanford University has given their report. And suddenly we are saying that no, women are not equal to men, and they need to be treated with kid gloves. That is the first thing. There are men who are suffering far more. Not from such situations, but they are suffering from many other medical situations, but they don't get any respite because of patriarchy. Because patriarchy sees men as only protectors and providers, and if they are not providing, they are not valued. That aspect of patriarchy, people who understand gender never speak up. People like Karuna never speak up.
Okay, so here's the thing: you ask whether men and women are really equal. I can tell you, after being a working woman for 20 years, that at the workplace, men and women are not equal. Ask any woman about the ceiling she hits.
That's not true. That's not true.
Ask any woman about the pay ceiling she hits.
I tell you what.
The hierarchy ceiling that she hits. And any woman, you're entitled to your opinion, and I respect that. No, just a minute. You are. Hear me out, Mr. Deshpande. You are.
No. I'm telling you one thing. This is a wrong notion which is spread across, that there is a glass ceiling and all. See, there are researches and studies wherein women, even in spite of we want to bring them on the boardroom, at that time they don't prefer it, because after a certain point of time, the woman, as such, she wants to look after the family, and she might have a spouse who is earning well. There is a research which says that men who have never been married, never had any girlfriend,
Mr. Deshpande, here's some data for you. Mr. Deshpande, here's some data for you. And this is a United Nations data. This is not my data. एक minute, Mr. Deshpande. I've heard you out. It's not like I want to drown. Sir, please let me finish what I'm saying. I've heard you out patiently. Please let me finish what I'm saying. This is data that is coming from the United Nations, and they are telling us that across the world, look at the pay disparity between men and women, it's 30%. You and I can be the same age, the same competence, the same position, doing the same work. I will be paid 30% less than you are. That is the reality that most women face at workplaces. So let's not pretend that workplaces, it's not, there's no misnomer. Ask any woman, ask any working woman, and you know it's no misnomer.
It is not their priority. Ma'am, women are always graded based upon the caretaking ability or the impact they are putting on as a caretaker. Men are always graded based upon the protection and provision.
I don't even know whether I should be responding to you. I don't even know whether I should be responding to you. You are saying that when women come to work, work is not their priority. That is not a fact. That is not a fact.
No.
Who told you it's a fact? How are you an authority? I am a working woman. My newsroom is 60% women. And for them, work is priority when they are at work.
Yes, when they are at work.
We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us. ठीक है. So work needs to be priority when you're at work only. Work doesn't need to be priority when you're at home. Okay, we'll leave it there for the moment. Amit Deshpande, thank you very much. I'm sure Karuna Nundy, ho gaya. Karuna Nundy, I'm sure you wants to respond to that, but I've run out of time. And I'm going to thank Shreya Upadhyaya as well, who had to rush off for her show. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's a debate that deeply divides, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. For the moment, the Sikkim High Court really is showing the way.